and to be more like them in a way? Is that one way to bridge towards them, to kind of exist like them?
Well, in a sense, but not, you wouldn't want to be, because you wouldn't understand it. So my point is in really enabling people who are one way situated in linear time, that they adopt a more heavenly principle, if you like, within understanding how other people may orientate themselves. It's part of the reason actually why autistic children get on very well with cats and dogs and fish, as I say, particularly porpoises and dolphins, of course, but also many other creatures as well, purely and simply because they are not judgmental, do not antagonize or create negative sways around them, but rather are more empathic with their energy and just like to be in that vibration, even if suddenly that autistic child may actually turn around and pull the fur out of a cat or a dog.
Yeah. So
but that's because the child doesn't realize that he or she is doing it. It's not a conscious motive, emotive way. It's not based upon the emotion or morality that ordinary linear thinking people have in common with themselves.
So what do we look like? I mean, what would I look like to one of them? Would they look at me and think, he's weird, he doesn't act like me? Like, would, you know, like if we give them a label, but surely we must be quite strange to them.
Absolutely, yes. Like looking at a person with two heads.
Because one of the things I was thinking was that, you know, we talk and they don't. They try to talk to try and meet and bridge the gap with us, but do they do a lot of their talking on the different levels, almost like they're trying to speak to us telepathically or from a different dimension, from the spiritual dimension, but we're not quite hearing it, and they must think, you know, why don't they hear us?
Why not sing?
Why not sing?
Yes, why not sing? Why do you have to talk? Why not sing, or sing in a different paraphrase, sing in a different way that is not of the way that they would normally hear? So that they sing, so that you sing, perhaps using Dharma phrasing, for example, in the way of repetitive movements and repetitive sounds of vocalization, which are in fact very empathic to the soul, very empathic to your spirit, and for its united state. So in actual fact, dharmic revolution tends to happen best when you are allowed to not know the words that are being said, but the energy that you feel from the saying of them.
Yes, so are they in tune with the energy of the words? So whether I say something or sing it, or singing would create a better energy for them to understand?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting. So it's not about the words as such, it's about the energy. They can translate that.
Absolutely. Don't forget, Fred, they don't think in linear time, or at least not all of the time. They have little windows of linear time where they correlate, where they understand, but it's only to the perception of, depending of course upon the additions of their condition. Perhaps it may be Asperger's, perhaps it may be some other situation which is very grounded or very atypical, which means that they will perhaps think in mathematical terms and perhaps actually collect certain situations which are completely, by observance, completely horrific or obsolete or ever. They're completely unbiased to anything else other than this one quantum situation which is heaped up in front of them. And purely the reason why they do it, it's not that there is a repetitive state that is there set to just annoy you. It is there because they are benefiting from all of that collective evidence.
Yeah. So is it the physical brain that makes them who they are in this respect, or is it their consciousness that's doing it?
It is not the consciousness, it is a chemicalization of the physical mechanics of cell structure and activity.
Yeah. So they chose to come into a human vehicle that is that way?
No.
No.
That's a complete myth, my dear.
Okay.
Autistic children do not choose to come in and have a life which is disorientated and disordinary. People do not come in and choose to have a physical life which is of a disability, or that they have no legs or no arms or anything like that. That is purely the governance of physical mutation. And how that originates is not necessarily known to that spirit who is going to have a physical life.
Okay.
Because would then depict for you that spirit, and that all life is, in a sense, at the behest of someone else. That means you do not have a free will experience, but in actual fact, everyone does. It's just a matter of how you cope with, not a lesson for everyone, but how you cope with the situation of evidence of your physical state. Are you going to be able to overcome this? Isn't a test.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone else to see. Oh, look how that person overcame that, or look how that person passed because of that condition that they attracted to themselves from some previous life, is simply not the case.